Welcome back for another video. It's time for the Gameweek 26 Experts video. It's been a busy week, with Gameweek 28's fixtures locked in now, and lots of wildcards active this week among the experts. In this series we ask a bunch of top all-time managers and content creators their plan each week. This wisdom on the crowd approach to FPL will help guide you to better decisions. So if you'd like to improve your rank through valuable experts data, make sure you're subscribing. Starting with a quick manager highlight, and David Vaux has held on to the top spot among all the experts, currently ranked 401st after scoring 79 points last week. Not enough for a green arrow, but his total points are now 1,714. It's getting very competitive in the experts league, with 3 managers in the top 1k now and 8 in the top 10k. Next up is the transfer activity among the experts. This week just 19% are rolling the transfer, 30% are making 1 transfer and 3% are making 2 transfers. All of those making 2 transfers are taking a -4 hit. However, at the bottom you'll notice almost a half of the experts have pulled the trigger on the wildcard, 48%. We caught up with a couple of top FPL managers who have shared their wildcard with us later in the video. So let's have a look at the most popular transfers in, and then we'll have a look at the appeal of wildcarding, or why holding on to it might be a good strategy as well. The most popular transfer in is Tony, 38% of those making a transfer are picking him up. Brentford are confirmed to double in Gameweek 27, Gameweek 29, and they don't blank in Gameweek 28 when 6 teams do. For that reason, some other Brentford assets are also among the most transferred in, me, Henry and Raya. As we know, Brighton will also double in Gameweek 27 and Gameweek 29. We'll have a proper look at the upcoming Gameweeks visually in a moment. Brighton however do blank in Gameweek 28, but nonetheless with 2 doubles in 3 Gameweeks, the Brighton assets are worth grabbing. Mitoma's been picked up by 26% of the experts, March 15% and McAllister 12%. All 3 have the potential to be great value. March and Mitoma are exciting wingers, and McAllister recently moved forward into the number 10 role, playing further forward in Lallana's absence, who could miss the rest of the season now. Interestingly, Zinchenko is the defender of choice from Arsenal. Over the last 6 game weeks he's taken 12 shots, which is the joint most among defenders with share. He's also created 8 chances, which is the 3rd most over that run. Gabriel nowhere to be seen here, but also a very good option and less prone to arrest at some point. Bournemouth, Fulham and Crystal Palace are Arsenal's next 3 opponents, who have considered the most attempts from set plays since the restart, which could benefit Gabriel. The most sold asset is Darwin, 30% selling him, followed by teammate Salah 26%. With Man United up next and a blank in Gameweek 28, there is an opportunity to sell Liverpool assets, though with the United game at home at Anfield anything could happen. Nketiah was benched for Arsenal's last 2, both for wins, and Arteta may stick with what's working. As such, 21% have dropped the Arsenal forward. With Gameweek 28 locked in, let's have a quick refresh on the current state of play in FPL. Gameweek 26 up next, which is a single game week, and then we've got the double Gameweek 27 where 4 teams double, Brentford, Brighton, Crystal Palace and Southampton. There's been little discussion on Palace and Southampton's double, but they are both out of form, and to be honest it's not a great double game week. And then that brings us to Gameweek 28, which is a blank for 6 teams. 14 teams will play that week. As we mentioned, Brentford notably play in the blank and also in the doubles before and after. The wildcard is a very dependent chip. If your team looks fine for Gameweek 26, you could wildcard in Gameweek 27 instead, directly into the double. Things can change fast in FPL, and sometimes waiting a week can be significant. Just a few weeks ago, Mahrez looked essential, and Nketiah was top in the league for expected goal involvement, and even Mitrovic was a great asset. Only a week ago, many of us tripled up on Liverpool assets, which suddenly doesn't look very good due to how the fixtures have fallen. And then that brings us to Gameweek 29, which is the biggest double game of the season. 12 teams will double. This is a potential bench boost week if you wildcard in Gameweek 26 or 27. Alternatively, you could wildcard directly into that game week and you've got the freshest information available, whereas if you wildcard now, it does leave you exposed to things changing or injuries. There's also an international break before Gameweek 29, so it's almost an entire month gap from wildcarding now to bench boosting. One strategy which is happy middle ground is to wildcard now and bench boost into the small double in 27. It is safer and likely to score 5 to 10 points less, assuming that the bench boost 29 goes perfectly to plan. We'll have a look at the chip usage next, and then we'll look at captaincy in the experts team. So 48% have their wildcard active, 6.7% have used it already, 46% are carrying the wildcard forward. As mentioned in the last segment, Gameweek 27 or Gameweek 29 are both good weeks to use it as well, if not this week. The free hit and bench boost chip's still largely unused. By the time we reach Gameweek 30, I expect the bench boost will be mostly used up. The free hit will come in handy in one of Gameweek 32, 34 or 37 if you still have it. So this week we've got 2 wildcard draws from 2 top FPL managers. The two drafts have a couple of key differences as well, and it's good to see different approaches taken by different managers. The first draft is from Steve, also known as FPL Sutton United. He's got 4 top 10k finishes, including the top 1k finish to his name. His team is as follows. It's Kepa in goal, Estepinian, me, Gabriel and Saka, Rashford, McAllister, Odegaard, Tony, Haaland and Kane. On the bench it's Raya, Mitoma, Schär and Trippier. He sent in some thoughts as well. He said, after falling from 37k to 141k in 2 weeks, the team needs to freshen up. With issues with Mahrez, Nketiah and Liverpool assets, the wildcard is the best option for my team. My thoughts are a wildcard team full of goal scoring players in all areas to attack the double game weeks, blank game weeks and bench boost 29. I will keep an eye out for the news of Estepinian. He could become Dunk if any issues. This team attacks the double game week 27, maximising Brighton and Brentford fixtures ahead. 28 blank game, we're currently looking at 10 players and I can't make a transfer to make it 11, and then 29 would be the bench boost opportunity. Despite no double game week, 3 of the Arsenal assets remain a priority and they're a must with great fixtures and form players such as Saka and Odegaard, both good for minutes and should play in the upcoming fixtures. I'll hold on to the free hit for a later possible double game week. The second draft is from Ryan Cameron, who has 5 top 10k finishes and several finishes just outside. His team is Kepa, Estepinian, Zinchenko and Henry, Rashford, Saka, Martinelli, Mitoma, Watkins, Tony and Kane. Interestingly, there's one notable absentee here. He's got no Haaland in his wildcard. He said, there's not a lot between all the options for goalkeeper. I like Raya, he's an easy bench for Kepa once the doubles are out of the way. I've gone for the fullbacks over the centre backs as I prefer their assist threat over the slim chance of getting a goal from any centre back. I prefer Martinelli over Odegaard as it's only a short term punt as they'll be going to game at 29. I prefer March and Mitoma over McAllister as they have secured roles in the side. Obviously the big talking point will be no Haaland, but I want to captain Saka this week so I won't be captaining him until game week 30. So I want to take him on for a few weeks, and I don't want to waste an extra transfer on taking him out and then back in. I want to be able to react to new information. The likes of Watkins has 2 more fixtures over him until game week 30. I'm going to free hit in game week 32, so that'll allow me to take out Arsenal players in 29 and keep the Man United and Brighton players. I'm obviously bench boosting in game week 29. Best of luck to Steve and Ryan on the wildcards, and thanks for sending in for us. Onto the Experts Captaincy, and a reminder that this game week's fixtures are on the right hand side. Very interesting results this week and a very split decision for captaincy. 50% are on Haaland and 47% Saka captain, and was a dead even spread this week. Rashford, Odegaard and Kane all captained by 1 manager each. Man City are home to Newcastle. In the reverse fixture it finished 3-3 with Haaland on the scoresheet once. Arsenal were home to Bournemouth, and in the reverse fixture it ended 3-0 to Arsenal, nothing from Saka that game. Before we move on to the Experts team, if you've enjoyed this video, please drop it a like and make sure you subscribe to the channel. So the Experts team is built from the highest end players among the Experts to form their template team, and it is as follows. It's Kepa in goal, in defence Tarkowski, me and White. The midfield is Mitoma, Saka vice captain, Odegaard and Rashford, and the front 3 of Tony, Haaland captain and Kane. Some benching decisions to make this week, namely whether to start Trippier or not for the Man City game. If you do back City to score, it could be an opportunity for us to bench Trippier this week and aim to gain some ground on those starting him. The template team will no doubt shift significantly over the coming game weeks to target those blanks and doubles. Tarkowski is a hangover from the double game week 25, but certainly playable this week against Forest if need be. Each game week we ask the experts to offer their insight and tips for the game week ahead. FPL analyst says, time to take some risk if you are chasing rank. A wildcard 26 seems like a logical decision which I am considering. Vardy Boys has activated the wildcard and he says, I decided to play the wildcard this week as it's a great opportunity to set up and attack the next 4 to 5 game weeks. It's also allowed me to fix issues in my team such as double Liverpool defence versus United and shift my Arsenal assets, White, Martinelli and Nketiah, who are all minutes risks. This then enabled me to save the free hit for future doubles or blanks post game week 30. Flair Player says, don't be stubborn, you have to adapt in fantasy football, you can change your mind. FPL Plan is saving his wildcard and he says, unless your team's in a mess, I think there's a lot of benefit to try navigating the next few game weeks with free transfers and maybe a hit or two, and save the wildcard for later. I feel the wildcard 26 has low upside for short term gain, but might potentially give you a lot of long term pain. Aaron Tompkinson reflects on lessons learned and says, disappointing free hit in game week 25, hope for more, was effectively worth 8 points to me versus just making 3 transfers on my existing team. Hoping the cup upsets this week will make not having a free hit to go not too costly, and hoping I can cover off with some careful planning and some luck. Adam Dennett says, FA Cup results changed everything. I'm now planning a bench boost 29 and free hit 34 or 37. Marco says, remember this is the exciting part of the season, so have some fun with your team. Don't follow the crowd and follow your heart. Play your own game. And lastly, FPL Fish says, all aboard the wildcard train. Choo choo. Alright, that wraps up this episode of The Experts. Thanks for watching. If you found it useful, please remember to like the video and make sure you subscribe for weekly content to come for the rest of the season. See you soon for the next one.